Okay. Our reading skill this week is called Schema, and you've probably never heard of this. So let's talk about it a little bit. All right. So Schema is our mental file cabinet. It's all the information in our brain, and it's made up of the places we've been, the books that we've read, and the people in our lives, and much, much more. So people can have two different experiences in the same thing and have different feelings about it. Okay. For example, some people love to go to the beach because they like to be in the sun, they like the salty water, they like the sand. So, in their mental file cabinet, their schema, when they think of the beach, they have a happy memory. Okay. Some people do not like the beach, believe it or not. Okay. They don't like sand, they don't like the heat. And so when they think about going to the beach, their mental file cabinet says, oh, no, I don't want to do that. Okay. So your mental file cabinet is just based on the experiences that you have and how you would connect with a story. Okay. This is how we make inferences. Okay. So in a story, if they're talking about going to the beach, if in your schema or your mental file cabinet you have happy feelings about going to the beach, then you would infer that the character was happy. But if your mental file cabinet or your schema has things about the beach that are not very happy, if the character was going to the beach, you might think, oh, they're not going to like it. Okay, so it all depends on what you have experienced as to what your inference would be or your guess about how the character would feel. Now, just because of your experience does not mean that that's how the character will feel, but sometimes that's maybe the guess that you would give. All right? We make inferences to figure out things that the author does not directly say. This is called reading between the lines or making an inference. The author and illustrator will give you clues to help you make an inference. And you also have your schema to help you. All right, so I have this poster here and it says my schema. Scoot me over a little bit. And I want you to think about some things that are in your schema. All right, the book that we're reading this week is called Wilfred Gordon MacDonald Partridge, and it is about a little boy that lives near a home where old people live, and the lady in the book has lost her memory. There's a disease called dementia when older people lose their memory, and so my schema would include something about my grandmother who had dementia. So when I read this book, it's one of my favorite books, but it makes me think of my grandmother. So it makes me happy because I loved my grandmother. She's not living anymore. I loved my grandmother, but it also makes me feel a little bit sad because I know that the lady in the book is suffering from that disease called dementia when she's lost her memory. Okay. So that would be something that I would put in my schema. And maybe in your schema, you might have things about places you have visited. Maybe you have been to an old person's home and you have memories of that. Okay. So those are some things that would go into your schema. Now, in the book, Miss Nancy remembers going to the beach, and it seems as if she has positive or happy memories of that. Okay, so in Miss Nancy's schema, she had positive, happy memories of going to the beach. All right, so let me review real quick. You use your schema, experiences and things that have happened to you, to make inferences about what is happening in the book. All right. Let's look at some of these questions for this week, and I'm going to make this a little smaller. Okay. How did Miss Nancy feel about Wilfred? All right. How do you think she felt? How do you think a person would feel that was having someone come visit them? What would that maybe make them feel? I think that she liked him, and I think that she enjoyed his visits. So I'm going to put a text box here. And I'm going to fill it in. And I'm going to make my text white. And I'm going to say, Miss Nancy liked Wilfred, and I believe she enjoyed his visits. Okay. All right. Why is Wilfred collecting all these things? So throughout the book, Wilfred goes and he gets an egg, he gets a seashell, and he gets several other things for Miss Nancy. What is he trying to do? I think that he is trying to activate her memory, and I think he's trying to help her remember. So I'm going to put this down here. Let's start that with a capital letter. Wilfred is trying to help Miss Nancy find her memory. All right. How did Miss Nancy feel about the beach? Now, in this story, the author does not directly come out and say she liked the beach or she did not like the beach. However, I want to show you this picture. I have a really big book. Do you see that picture? I think that she's enjoying being in the sand. Okay. And the text says, she put the shell to her ear and remembered going to the beach by tram long ago and how hot she had felt in her button up boots. And it looks like she took her button up boots on to go get in the sand. Okay. So I would say that she liked the beach. Okay, Miss Nancy enjoyed the beach. Okay, and then the last one, why is Miss Nancy sad about her brother? Okay, so you do have to make an inference there. In the book, she feels sad. I'm getting the book, so give me just a second. It says, she touched the metal and talked sadly of the big brother she had loved, who had gone to the war and never returned. So that means that her brother went to war and he never got to come home from the war. And so it says, why is she sad about her brother? I would say because she misses him. Okay. Uh-oh. Okay. Miss Nancy misses her brother who went to war and never returned. Okay, so in this lesson, we learned about our mental filing cabinet, things and memories that have happened to us. We learned how to use those experiences to make inferences. We talked about things that would be in our schema. So maybe you play a sport and you love that sport. So if a character in a book was playing a sport, your inference would be that the character loves that sport. Okay? Does that mean that the character is always going to love the sport in a book? No, but that just means that you have a connection to try to understand how the character feels.